Hey loves, Kim here, and I'm back with another video. So if this is your first time on the channel, I just would like to say welcome. Hi, my name is Kim. I am a Sims 4 gamer, and I'm here with the third installment of the Nisey Dream Wedding series here on YouTube. And I am so excited about this one because it has a bit of a theme to it. Shout out to Maria Oglesby on YouTube for her submission of the couple that we're going to be featuring here, and I'm super excited because Maria set her couple in the year of 1987, and it was so fun to just kind of do research to see what was on trend and how weddings look and just get a whole vibe going. 1987 was a little bit before my time, so it was fun just kind of learning about what was popular, what was in style. And with Maria's brief, she also said that the Sims were from New Orleans, which was actually a treat for me because my now fiance and we visited New Orleans a couple of years ago for his birthday, and I knew exactly what I had in mind when she told me the year and she told me the setting. I knew that I had to do a cathedral. Now, the cathedral that I instantly thought of is the one in New Orleans in Jackson Square. It's called the St. Louis Cathedral, and it's this massive, beautiful piece of architecture right there in Jackson Square in the French Quarter, which is world famous for sites like Cafe du Monde and just so many things. I'm trying to like stay on track, but I really enjoyed our time in New Orleans. And if you guys are interested in seeing some of the sites that we experienced in New Orleans, I actually did a vlog. I did a vlog, so if you're interested, be sure to click the card on the screen and check out the description box below. But it was so much fun, you guys. It's so much fun. He really enjoyed his birthday, and we both enjoyed our time down there because it was something definitely different for us. If you're not familiar with New Orleans, it is basically swampland for the most part. The city of New Orleans itself, and I'm not sure if this applies to other portions of Louisiana, but New Orleans, I know that it is located below sea level, and honey, the humidity is on another level. Like literally, I got my nails done like a day or two before our trip. As soon as we got off the plane in the airport in New Orleans, like my nail job was like through. Like the humidity was on another level. And I'm from Atlanta, but New Orleans humidity is definitely something else. But anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. Definitely check out the vlog if you guys are interested, and let's get back into this build. So obviously, like I said, I wanted to do a cathedral. I knew that since her wedding was in the 80s, church weddings were definitely a thing, and that's not just limited to the 80s. I think that by it being like over 30 years ago, things were a bit more traditional, and typically, at least I know in the United States, a lot of people during that time were having church weddings because it was just a traditional thing to do. It's the most appropriate in a lot of cultures as far as having someone bless your union, and just all of the things that goes with people's different religions and just traditions and things like that. And I just felt like this was a perfect place. Now, this doesn't exactly look like the St. Louis Cathedral. Obviously, it's on a much smaller scale for my sake because I couldn't imagine if I had to accurately scale down that beautiful cathedral in The Sims. Like, I would be insane trying to do that. I mean, not saying it's not possible, but for me and the way my timetable was looking, it just was not going to happen. But I really love the way it turned out. I love the arches that I used all throughout, which was just on the screen. I'm sure we'll see them again, but those arches are actually prop pieces from the Get Famous pack, and I really like it because I just feel like it just added another layer of texture and architecture and just different shapes and dimensions and things. I'm currently working on the facade of the building, and I definitely love the St. Louis Cathedral because it has these three roof details. I was gonna say spires, but I don't think these are technically spires, but it just looks like a castle to me, and I just really like it. I feel like it was very old, but in the best way possible. It's kind of whimsical, and it actually kind of reminds me of the castle at Magic Kingdom in Disney World. If you haven't been there, it's just basically one of the most iconic symbols for Disney. The three kind of like towered castle that they have, so this was definitely very reminiscent of that. And I just wanted to bring a little bit of whimsy in here, but also just kind of call to the real life architecture in New Orleans. So I built this on the Municipal Muses lot in Willow Creek, and if you're not familiar, Willow Creek was actually based on Louisiana, or at least I'm pretty sure that's what one of the gurus said, as well as Magnolia Promenade. If you haven't been aware, Magnolia Promenade is basically an extension of Willow Creek. It's kind of like, I don't know, I guess I would say kind of like the shopping district of Willow Creek, so that's why they have very similar architecture, and you can see the ferry kind of travel between both of those towns. Magnolia Promenade is just, in my head, basically the retail district of Willow Creek. But with that being said, this is based on Louisiana, so I definitely wanted to bring in those architectural pieces. A little bit of history. France actually used to own the state of Louisiana. It used to be their territory, so there's a lot of French influence in Louisiana, from their architecture to the culture. A lot of people speak French down there, so it's very integral to the geographical and I guess architectural and cultural makeup of Louisiana, and I feel like that just adds just a little bit of flair and flavor, and just it makes Louisiana and New Orleans specifically, because that's what we're talking about here, just that much more special to me for somebody who didn't grow up in the culture but was able to experience it. Like, it was so much fun, you guys. It was so much fun. Anyway, back to the build. I was just messing around with the stairs, just trying to fit it in that small space. I knew that I was going to have a upper level in this cathedral, but it didn't quite work out beforehand how I was gonna make it work, but it all came together in the end. And I'm currently working on the altar. So obviously I'm doing this for my Nisey Dream Wedding series, so I'm putting in a lot of just kind of like wedding things, specifically that wedding arch. But if you wanted to use this for whatever reason in your gameplay, whether it's for worship or having mass, or doing your own wedding here, or whatever it is, all you need to do is just get rid of the wedding arch and it's just a regular cathedral. So I definitely wanted to keep the decor, as far as the wedding decor, to a minimum in here. I just felt like the architecture alone was beautiful enough to where I didn't have to go over the top. And typically in like big cathedrals, you are kind of limited on how many decorations you could bring in, because at the end of the day, it is a place of worship, so you have to be respectful of that. I'm still trying to just get everything segmented off, playing around with some of these arch pieces. Like I said, they are props from the Get Famous pack. If you're interested, I'm not sure if they're debugged, but they're called Arched Way, ARCH-ED way, and I use these a lot when I want to convey a sense of grandeur and just scale. Now I am doing a just kind of like a technique that I don't want to say I invented, but I haven't seen anyone else do this in their speed builds, and I actually layered those windows. So I have the 3 wide rounded window from the Get Together pack, which is kind of like that stained glass, and then I put the 3 wide rounded window from the Realm of Magic right on top of it, which is also a stained glass, and I just really like the texture it gave. I love the Realm of Magic windows for the frames and the panes, and I don't know, I was initially going to get rid of the Get Together windows, but when I put the Realm of Magic window on top by accident, I just really liked the way that it looked. I'm currently on the roof level, and I'm just trying to figure out how I'm going to add a roof on this kind of awkward shape. So it's more of kind of like a octagonal bit on the end and a gabled roof kind of like in the middle, and then there's those individual roofing pieces at the top. And now I'm just adding in some spires on top of the roof just to give it more of that gothic feel and just to add another level of architecture and detail. And I really love the way this came out. I feel like this build feels very old, but like I said, in the best way possible. I feel like architecture that's withstand the test of time and has been here for years and years and years. Like, I just feel like there's a certain beauty that goes very underrated for such a long amount of time. When my boyfriend, well, my fiance, he was my boyfriend at the time, when we went to New Orleans, they were celebrating their tricentennial year. So they have been an established city for 300 years at the point we went to there. I think we went back in 2018. So it was just nice to see that and just to see all of the beautiful architecture stand the test of time. Now, initially, this space next to the cathedral was originally just going to be a very generic banquet hall. I was like, okay, they're getting married, they need to have a reception. It's just too much hassle to try to get all of your Sims from one lot to the next. So I need to utilize the rest of this space for a reception. Now, there was several iterations that I cut out. Initially, it was just going to be a one-level banquet hall with kind of like an open air space for your Sims to be able to dance underneath the moonlight, and you know, they can enter from the street. But I went back to Maria's brief about the couple, and the guy, his name is Jonathan. He is a comedian, and through him being a comedian, that's actually how he and his wife Sherry met. So I thought, you know what, I need a comedy club. I feel like that would be more true to Maria's brief with the Nisey Dream Wedding series, and also it just made more sense in New Orleans because when we were there, I don't remember seeing any banquet halls, but there were plenty of lounges, bars, and club. Like, so I just felt like it just made more sense to go in that direction. I felt like it was more accurate to my inspiration for this build. And I just feel like you can utilize a bar or a comedy lounge more ways than just like a banquet hall where you will only go there for a wedding or only go there for a party or something of the sort. So I revisited the blog just to see some of the things that I might have captured, and of course I used good old Google to get some inspiration. And I remember loving the rounded two-story buildings that were in New Orleans. There were a lot of two-story buildings with beautiful wrought iron features around their balconies on the upper area, and these beautiful long floor-to-ceiling windows. And I just remember loving that about their architecture because I felt like it was just so elegant and so elongated, and I just really loved it. I really loved it, and I wanted to build that, make that a key feature on the architecture. On the bottom level, I like the way that I kind of hollowed things out with those arches. We'll come back to it. You could probably see it on the left side of the screen now, but I kind of hollowed those out just to draw your eye in and just give the building more of a depth. And I decided to use this lot for multiple shops, so when you download it into your game, you can have more fun building things out and using it for different reasons. I would say that everything included on this lot is the cathedral, of course, the comedy club. The long building is technically two buildings, so most of it is kind of like a mini hotel. There's no kitchen or anything, but there are 3 bedrooms there and kind of like a reception space. And then the second part of that long rectangle is going to be kind of like a psychic medium space. So I just, like, today as I'm recording, I just got the paranormal pack. I knew that I wanted it, so I just got it, put in a couple pieces off camera. Like I said, it was very last minute, but I like the way it came out. And then there's also going to be a space for a bakery, because if you've ever been in New Orleans or heard about New Orleans, they have some good food. so good food, so much good seafood, and you know, other food too, but they're definitely known for their seafood and their beignets and things like that. So my thought with the bakery is maybe it's a beignet place, not exactly Cafe du Monde, you know, but you can pretty much get beignets from so many places in New Orleans. It's just that Cafe du Monde is definitely well known, and we had the pleasure of visiting there, and it was just a nice experience overall. Another thing I noticed while we were in New Orleans is that they had just a lot of beautiful arches and a lot of spaces where you would kind of enter in from the street or through like a bar or something, and they would have like an open area where bands would play jazz, or you know, someone would be singing, or you know, it was just kind of like that vibe where people would just be chilling outside, you know, everyone's just enjoying their time in New Orleans. So I definitely wanted to incorporate that with this build as well, which is why I still kept in the open air concept that I was telling you guys about. I just refined it a bit from my first iteration, okay? And I really like it because you would access it from the bar, and I just feel like this is just a nice space to hear live music. So in the comedy club, it's at this point where I am creating a stage. So I use platforms on this building, and I use the foundation on the cathedral. The reason why I went with the platforms is because I knew that I wanted to create stages, or at least 8. Well, I guess there's technically 2 stages. There's a stage indoors and a stage outdoors. So I knew that I wanted the kind of difference in elevation as far as those floors. And I don't know if you guys feel this way, but I do feel like the platforms are a little bit tricky and they are a little bit buggy, but you know, if you finesse them enough, you can get them to do what you want them to do. And I knew that for the comedy stage, I didn't want it to be too big. I definitely want it to be rounded. That way I feel like whoever's on stage can engage the audience a little bit better. So yeah, I definitely really like the kind of rounded stage we have here. And the fact that Maria specifically said that this was going to be in the 80s, specifically 1987, another challenge for me was picking out pieces that I felt like best reflected the times, and I hope that I did a good job with that. That's why I have like the huge jukebox, and I'm trying to just stick with more of like these wooden features, because I just felt like that was very appropriate. And the bars that we went into, my fiance and I were not big drinkers, but we did go into the bars, you know, just to see what was going on in there, or if we needed to stop and like, I don't know, ask somebody, how do you get here? The ones that we saw did still have a lot of like wooden seating and wooden tables and things like that. So I just felt like it definitely reflected the times and the architecture as accurately as I possibly could. So I went with the big jukebox. I just felt like that was right, and that actually came from the Strangerville pack, if I'm not mistaken. And speaking of humidity, I made sure to add plenty of ceiling fans. That was something that we noticed a lot, that a lot of the places, I don't know if they didn't have air conditioning or if that just wasn't a thing, but you know, it was hot. It was humid, honey. Like it was like ceiling fans were everywhere. They were indoors, they were outdoors. So I definitely made sure to incorporate that with the build. But yeah, I just really love how everything is coming together at this point. I'm just playing around with these arches. These arches on the brick and kind of like the open air area, those came with the vampire pack. And I just felt like they definitely looked older, but beautifully older, definitely aged. The whole vampires aesthetic is definitely more of a Victorian style, so with pieces that I feel like have a more older classic kind of aesthetic, the vampires pack is definitely my go-to. And New Orleans is just such a colorful city, so I put in the rug from the City Living pack, and that's just kind of like the pink and green stuff on the bottom. It's a rug. So I am trying to figure out what windows I want to have. I wanted this place to feel alive, And I wanted whatever Sims that were going to utilize this space to be able to interact with each other. So like I said, the bottom part of this rectangular piece is a psychic medium office. It's very, very small. It's just 2 rooms, but the psychic medium, or whatever you want to use it for, they have access to like that courtyard space. There isn't any direct access from this little mini hotel, which is what we're working on now, but they can always access it through the bar. I went with these doors from Strangerville. I don't think I keep this particular door. I think I change it I think I changed it to a base game door, but the door that's currently up here is from Strangerville, along with the windows that are currently there. And I'm just trying to figure out the roofing situation. It's not uncommon for residential houses to be attached directly to a business in the French Quarter, so I definitely wanted to do that, and that was kind of like my ideal. Initially it was going to be a house, but since we don't have the option to do multiple lot types in one particular space, I felt like, you know, just make it a hotel. Hopefully we get a hotel update or we get a hotel pack, so you'll be able to run it as such, but until then we can pretend, right? I'm just adding in some more of these columns just to really define the space so they don't look like just flat pieces of wall. Like you could tell where one building ends and another building begins. And I'm just adding in just some little details like these drain pipes, and I think I'm going to add in these storm drains. Yeah, I'm just adding it there. New Orleans does get a bit of rain from time to time, so we need somewhere for all the water to go. And it was actually when I came across that wall piece from Cats and Dogs, which you can see right now. It's technically a paw and an eyeball on the paw, but that made me decide that this was going to be like for a psychic medium, and the fact that I just got the paranormal pack, it just confirmed it. It really did just confirm it for me. I wanted just kind of like a cutesy entryway to the psychic medium's office, so all I did was take those 2 columns, put in a spandrel, and there you go. We made it back to the cathedral side, and I'm just trying to decide what type of pavement I wanted in front of the door, just to make this place stand out, just to really define the space as a cathedral, and just, I don't know, I guess make it a bit more prominent, you know? Initially I was going to put in a gate initially, but I decided against it because it just felt cramped. It felt really, really cramped. And the St. Louis Cathedral and Jackson Square, it doesn't have a gate directly in front of the door. It has a gate around the, I guess, the block where the cathedral is, but there are other things attached to the cathedral, so it's kind of like around that whole block, if that makes sense. So I definitely wanted the gate, but I didn't want I definitely wanted a fencing, but I didn't want the gate to be so close to the front door. What else? Right now I'm just working on a bit of clutter. I found this tavern sign in the wall clutter menu. I'm adding in some pictures and things just to make it feel a bit more lively, a bit more lived in, you know, like maybe these items were collected over time and put together. And I love this little wall bit. Now I can't quite recall if this particular one is from the Vampires pack or if it's from the Romantic Garden pack, but it's definitely one of them. And I'm using these flower boxes from Get Famous just to line on top of that green wall. I don't know, I just really, really like the way it looked. I feel like it just felt fresh and romantic, and that's what I like. That's just what I like. Now I'm adding in this jazz sign. Like I said, I feel like the open air area is perfect for jazz music, live jazz bands, you guys. It's so nice. Like the energy along, like just from feeling people like sing live and perform, and you know, it's just like the atmosphere. It's a total vibe. It's a total vibe. So I was trying my absolute darndest, you guys, to use these rope lights. They are my favorite. These are from the toddler pack. it just wasn't happening. It just was not happening. So I was like, okay, well, let me use these fairy lights from the Parenthood pack. If you're looking for these are not in the lighting section. Those are technically in the wall decoration section, just putting that out. And I decided to go with these lanterns from the Snowy Escape pack. I really like the way it looked. I feel like lanterns and lights, they just look so magical and enchanting. So I definitely love using those, and I'm trying to just convey a sense of whimsy and romanticism. I'm upstairs in the comedy club, and I'm just adding in some rugs and some tables and chairs, and oh my. Anyway, that was random, but I'm just adding in some rugs and some like hanging flowers and things. This is definitely common space in these beautiful buildings with this kind of like veranda or balcony, or however you want to say it. I just really love the way it looks in real life and in the game. I believe these hanging flowers are from the Get Together pack, and I just feel like it just add a little bit of freshness, a little bit of I don't know, it's just a vibe, you know? I mean, this is how it really looks in the French Quarter. So, I mean, I'm hoping that I'm doing a good job, you guys. I just really hope I am. So, I divided up just a little snippet of that platform just to kind of convey that this is the start of a sidewalk. I don't know, that's something I noticed in real life, not necessarily in New Orleans, but just in general. When you're like at a crosswalk, they have like that corner of the sidewalk you're going to a different color. I guess that's to indicate that this is the safe place. I was trying to say place and zone at the same time. Anyway, this is the safe place to walk. What am I even talking about at this point, you guys? I'm back in the comedy club, and I'm just adding in some more lighting. I don't know if you guys have been experiencing this, but I feel like ever since we got the platforms, the stairs have been kind of glitching out. So like when I'm on a higher level, like part of the stairs will disappear depending on the angle of the camera. Let me know in the comments if you guys have been experiencing that, but I definitely have. I'm just going back in with some clutter, as you saw and can see. I'm adding in some pictures and some lights and just some other things just to again add on to the ambiance, add on to the mood and the vibes of this space. I definitely wanted it to feel alive. I wanted it to feel like so dynamic. So I just really love the way that the comedy club came out. So back in the cathedral, I'm trying to figure out what to do with the area, like the main sanctuary. I'm not sure if they call it the sanctuary in a cathedral. I know in the churches that I've been to, they call like the main area of worship the sanctuary. So I'm just going to refer to it as the sanctuary. Anyway, the sanctuary and just kind of like the entryway, I'm trying to figure out what to do there, you know, what type of flooring, if I'm going to add any decor, how do I make it feel nice. And I took a break from that and was like, okay, I need to do something with this space behind these windows. In cathedrals, there's just always just this beautiful stained glass statement piece like above the pulpit. So I definitely wanted to incorporate that, and what I decided to do was utilize this space as the office. Maybe, you know, whatever elder is in charge, or a preacher or a priest or priestess, or whatever the official title, whoever is, you know, over the leadership here, maybe they would utilize this space to, you know, I don't know, do their logs, or maybe go over whatever scripture they want to talk about, or, you know, whatever mass they want to do. I just feel like they needed a space to work from, and I just really like how I kind of utilized that kind of weird space. I just added some furniture, some places to sit, a desk, a couple of plants just to make you feel good about being there. And you know, I just love the way it came out. I feel like I can't say that enough, but I really did love the way it came out. Now, what I noticed in cathedrals, they have confessional rooms. We was only there for a second. I'm not sure we go back, but we did not get a chance to visit the St. Louis Cathedral. But when we went to Mexico a couple of years ago, we did visit a cathedral down there, and we saw that they had confessional rooms, and they weren't really big. The ones in Mexico, or the one in that particular cathedral, it actually looked like it was just like a booth that was put in there. It wasn't like an official room, but I just know that cathedrals typically have a confessional, so I definitely wanted to put that in. I'm sorry, you guys, I know I'm kind of like sidetracking and going into a tangent, but I don't know, I just like sharing my process with you guys. So I hope you guys enjoy. I know when I watch building videos, whether it be in The Sims or real life building shows and documentaries and things like that, I love hearing the process of it. I love hearing how each space serves a purpose and how it works with the other spaces. So I say that to say, I hope I'm not talking too much because your girl can be a talker. Anyway, I am working with the lights here. So what I did, I took these chains from the Snowy Escape pack, and I wanted it to look like this was actually supporting the chandeliers below. As you know, a lot of the ceiling lights and chandeliers that we have, they only stop on that level, but since I have like a huge gap like in between the bottom level and the ceiling, I had to make it look like it was longer than what it was. So I just took a couple of those rope lights, put them on top of each other, and then just centered in the lamps below underneath. So I mean, it gives the effect that it's all one piece. Now when you're on the first level, you don't see the chains on the level above, but when you're on the second story, you see it all as one piece, as you can see right now. And I just feel like I like the way it came out. It's not perfect, but it gives the effect that I was looking for. I added in these chandeliers from the Vintage Glamour pack underneath, and those big lights that are kind of like triangular with like these little lanterns, those are from Realm of Magic. And if you're wondering where the pipe organ is from, that's from the Vampires pack. So I tried my best to like really go heavy with the packs that felt very classical, very stately, and very, very old. So I used Realm of Magic, Vintage Glamour, Vampires, Get Together, like a lot of those packs with like the older architectural, like more classic aged features. I use those a lot. So these are the confessionals that I was kind of going into a tangent about earlier. And I mean, they're not big rooms, but confessionals in real life, they're not huge rooms. There's just enough for you to go in there and pray, or, you know, confess to whatever you feel the need to confess about. Now, I know when we went to Mexico, our guide said that the confessionals, and this is a couple years ago, so I don't want to get this wrong, but from what I recall, he said that the confessionals were kind of like an effort like from the community to hold people accountable for, you know, their shortcomings. I'm gonna leave it at that because I don't want to get too like religious, but that's what the guide in Mexico said. So I thought that was just a really cool aspect, the fact that, you know, he said that it's basically the community helping to keep that person accountable for something that they felt like they fell short on. So I don't know, but I just really like the way that the confessionals came out. I mean, they're just big enough for you to go in there and, you know, do your thing, and they don't take up too much space of the cathedral, but I felt like I needed to utilize this kind of like empty gap before you get to the sanctuary, and I just really like the way they came out. And I thought, well, I need to make sure my Sims can have a potty break if they needed to. So there are just 2 single bathrooms in the cathedral. There is another bathroom in the comedy bar, and there is another bathroom in kind of like the mini hotel space. So your Sims have plenty of places to use the bathroom if they so need to. Anyway, back into the build. In the comedy club, I'm just rearranging the bar area, just trying to hide the fact that I had to size down the hutch and the mirrors went crazy. So I'm just hiding it with a couple of cabinets from base game, and I added in some mirrors also from base game just to make it look a bit more cohesive. That door off to the side of the hutch is for just a small office for the comedy club. I don't think I show you guys that on camera, but I mean, there's not much going on. It's such a tiny room. And I do a little bit in this bakery. Like I said, I don't focus too much on these parts because I wanted to make this video watchable for you guys. It's already kind of lengthy, so I was trying to be conscious about how long this is going to end up being. But anyway, you guys, I have rambled on enough. I think I'm gonna go ahead and cut away here, but if you made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. I truly hope you guys enjoyed, and be sure to check out the official machinima that goes along with this build of the wedding. I'm really proud of that one, and I just hope you guys truly enjoyed it, and I captured Maria's brief as best as I possibly can. Feel free to like, comment, and share this video. It helps me and the channel out more than you know, you guys, and I truly appreciate just reading you guys' comments, and I do my best to answer every single one. So leave me a lovely comment below, and feel free to subscribe, and be sure to click that bell, that way you never miss an upload from me. If you guys are interested in having this lot in your game, I will have all of the download information below in the description box, and you can find me on Origin. My Origin ID is Simply-Nisey. Again, you guys, thank you all so much for watching. I truly enjoyed chatting with you guys, and as always, I will talk to you in the next video. Bye guys.